One of the questions that I hear over and over again is, why am I spending money on a Lamborghini Urus Performante in this case, where I can just buy an Audi RS Q8 or a Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT, which I drove recently? Like, why am I spending over $250,000 US or over $400,000 Canadian in this case for the Performante? Or I could just settle for an Audi RS Q8, which you can easily get even used under $200,000. The idea of a Lamborghini SUV seemed like a big shift from their usual supercars like the Huracan, the Aventador, which were known for speed and sharp design. But the Urus proved to be a very smart move. In fact, you see these things everywhere, and I don't mean that like a Honda Civic, but compared to other very high-performance SUVs, I could say I've seen more Urus than BMW X5M or even the Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT. The Lamborghini Urus Performante exists to push the limits of what an SUV can be. It's for people that want the practicality of an SUV, but even with more power, sharper handling, and aggressive style. It takes the standard Urus, turns up the performance, and it just becomes essentially an Urus on steroids. The Lamborghini Urus Performante is like a supercar that decided it wanted to carpool. But it's stupidly fast. It is loud. Let's be honest. It's the perfect car to pick up some groceries. In fact, the other day I went to Costco to pick up some foods and other things. You end up spending more than you ever planned when you go to Costco. And I parked this car on the side and people were just staring at it because they're thinking, who is this cheap-ass rich guy coming to Costco? Why doesn't he use his maids or his servants? And in some ways it actually felt awkward for a minute, but after I came out, I managed to put so many things in this because it's still very much an SUV and it offers, well, a lot of space. And it did a pretty good job to keeping everything. I also had my son in the back seat with my wife. Now, here's what we have. First of all, the exterior design, because that's very important. Very much similar to a standard Urus with a lot more carbon fiber. In fact, this one offers front splitter carbon fiber, which is used to improve aerodynamics and, of course, give it a sportier look. And we have a massive rear diffuser, which is also made of carbon fiber for better airflow and more aggressive design. Then we have the hood, which you don't see it because it is painted, but the entire hood, it is made of carbon fiber, which also helps lower the vehicle's weight. And we've got the roof, which is an optional carbon fiber roof, which reduces further the weight. Also, you couldn't miss the side mirrors and the wheel arches. These parts also come in carbon fiber to contribute the sporty styling while cutting tons of weight, apparently. So essentially what they have done in this case is making a lighter version of that Urus. They saved almost about 104, 105 pounds by removing all the other parts and adding carbon fiber. You also have those two nostrils on top of the hood that make it look like a freaking dragon or a snake. Here's the thing. This shares the engine with the Cayenne Turbo GT, with the Audi RS Q8. And you might think at this point, but I can do the same thing to the RS Q8. I can just make it faster. You might not even get it close to this because it's not just about making faster. It's also about aerodynamics. It's also about what Lamborghini stands for. Let's be honest. Who are we kidding? It's a Lamborghini. Every time you tell that to someone, they're going to be like, wow, really?
And some people buy them for the bragging rights, and that's totally fine. That's why you pay the big bucks. Some people also love the way this thing looks. I can bet you that if you drove around an RSQ8, most people will not even notice. They're going to see it's an Audi, it's nice, but they're not going to notice. People have broken necks with this thing. Everywhere I go, everywhere I park, just turn around. People stop on the road and take pictures of this as if it's like a supercar, which is even more insane. And here's the other thing too. Just because it is the Performante, it doesn't mean that it's not a good daily. In fact, here's what I can do right now. Go all the way down because you have to go through all the modes before you get to Strada in this case. And I'm going to put it into driving mode. And that's it. Car turns into a civilized vehicle. You've got a normal mode. Get amazing fuel efficiency. You don't have to drive fast. You can just relax for around the countryside. Don't have to be an insane person, like go crazy, even though, oh, there's some twisty roads here. Nope, never mind. Into sport, manual mode. Oh, yeah. No, I forget about that. This car is meant for this one. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, these roads are made for this. Oh, good God. I was in the complete wrong modes before. Now I know what I am.
Under the hood, this beauty uses a 4-liter V8 twin turbocharged, making 657 brake horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque. It is equipped with an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it is all-wheel drive with a curb weight of 4,986 pounds. Yes, this thing is almost 5,000 pounds, and it can do 0 to 60 based on car and driver in 3 seconds. Lamborghini Online says about 3.3, clearly a little bit underrated. Quarter mile, 11.2 seconds. That is absolutely insane for a vehicle that weighs almost 5,000 pounds. But thankfully, it is equipped with front brakes, which are 17.3-inch vented, cross-drilled carbon ceramic disc. The rear ones are 14.6 vented, cross-drilled carbon ceramic as well. In terms of tires, we've got Pirelli P0 Trofeo R. Rear 325, front 285. This thing is quite impressive. But let's do a launch control.
Okay, let's see this one. Okay. Launch control. Launch Oh my God. Wow. Whoa. The launch control activated. That was actually so easy to do. Wow. I actually thought it wouldn't turn on, but it did, because I tried a couple of times, but I was on the wrong mode, because it shouldn't be in sport, it should be in Corsa. That makes sense, of course. This car is ridiculous, the way it handles. You can get in trouble with this thing so quickly, like no other. And here's another thing that I love about is the interior. It's an absolute masterpiece of like the way they have designed this interior. It's another level of design, and let me explain why. The interior of the Urus looks like Lamborghini raided a carbon fiber factory, and they literally stole every carbon fiber piece they had there, and they molded into this and put it everywhere. There's carbon fiber here everywhere. The dashboards, the door panels, even in the center over here, everywhere there's carbon fiber. Clearly, the person that did this loved carbon fiber, or they just wanted to make it look like it was actually a lot faster on the inside as well to give it that impression. And they achieved that. I personally love carbon fiber. It's also lightweight, which is super important. There are buttons over here that make this thing look like a space shuttle, like even the start button, the driving modes, and so on. You're ready to launch this thing with all these buttons inside. Now, a couple annoying things about this vehicle. First is the driving modes, because you kind of have to like go Strada, Sport, Corsa, Rally, and then back to Strada. So you kind of have to go all the way down to get to normal mode, which is called Strada. And to go into driving mode for an SUV, you have to go into the paddle shifter and then go into drive. In fact, we were just at a parking spot right now, and this guy had a massive tow truck with like 15 cars in there, and he was saying he couldn't figure out how to put the car into drive. So I had to show it to him how to put it into drive, because he kept going to manual mode. He's like, why is this thing going in manual mode? Because I said, you're pressing it twice. You have to press it only once. And he didn't know how to put it in reverse. So I had to show him how to put it in reverse and all that. It's a bit of a learning curve getting inside this car. And I think it makes it special at the same time, because it's different. It's not the same. You don't go in and there's a shift knob. You're going to drive, reverse, neutral, and so on. In fact, neutral, you have to hold the paddle shifters to go into neutral. That's another thing with this car. So it's a bit of a learning curve to get in and then teaching yourself how to actually drive this thing. But once you get the hang out of it, like, you actually enjoy this car quite a lot, because it's unique, and you kind of make fun with your friends when they jump in. It's like, oh, how do you put this into drive, and so on. It is loaded with tech features. I love the screen in the center here for the climate unit. It has this noise, which is similar to what you have seen in Audis, and you can pretty much hear the ticking noise as you tap, because in that way you get that feedback that yes, you pressed it, you're good to go. So the question is this thing worth over the other two? Well, I'm sure until now you figured that out. I think it's worth it because it's different. The RSQ8 felt heavy, didn't feel as fast. The Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT, it's just as great, but it's very understated. It doesn't scream fast. This screams, I'm here to get you. And it's fast.